Media.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 62 of the Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Tabruggi, and joining me again tonight, Derek, down there in Arizona. How's it going down there in the zona?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. We have 20 people watching right now. That's not going to stand. We need to share the show right now. Let's get these numbers up. We got a lot of cases to cover tonight. We do have a guest backstage we're going to bring on here in just a few moments. Judy Dunn. Tell us a little bit about this guest, Ricky.
She is the mother of Joshua Kalina, who was murdered in Topeka, Kansas. Second here. Back in, I got to find his flyer. Back in April 24th of 2007, he was actually shot by two shooters. One was arrested. The other one is still out there unidentified. And we're going to bring her on to talk about that and see if we can't help get the second shooter identified.
Right. Okay. Well, let's see if we can get her on 1 second. Let me fix one thing.
Okay.
Judy, are you hearing us loud and clear?
You hearing us, Judy?
You're kind of cutting out.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. We might have some issues with that.
Let me try something different.
Here, while she tries that, I'm going to bring her down for just a second.
Okay.
Well, let's see if she can catch up to us a little bit. Might have some connection issues with Judy tonight. We'll have to figure
Yeah, I
that
don't know.
out.
She lives in Topeka, I believe, so there shouldn't be any real internet issues, I wouldn't think, but I don't know.
Can you hear us any better, Judy? Can you hear us any better?
I can hear you now.
Okay, good.
I think there's a really long delay, though. Here, how long does it take for you to hear me say this?
I just heard you say it.
Okay, it's not too bad. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your situation.
Okay. My son Josh was murdered April 24th of 2007. And there was two people that had shot and killed him that evening. And we were able to find and identify one of them right away because Josh was with a friend, and the person Josh was with actually worked with the one person. So we were able to identify him because we knew who he was, or his friend knew who he was. And Timothy happened to have called somebody else up there that evening. Plenty of people seen him that evening, and he can actually be identified by multiple people, but we don't have his name to put him in a lineup to be identified at this time. So if there's like anyone out there that can just anonymously call in, even if they ask for Detective Wheelis, which has been promoted. He's not a detective, but he did work the case. Drop the name. We're able to pull that picture up. We can get him identified. He's now for 14 years been loose on the streets and get to do and live life how he wants. My son has not received full justice. I've had to watch over my back for 14 years. It was horrible because for many, many years, I was scared to even go out to the grocery store or anywhere because I had a description of the man. And every time I see anybody that even looked like him, I would just have a total panic and anxiety attack. So for our family to have total justice for my son, we need whoever knows his name to please anonymously call it in. Just give us the name. We don't care who gives us the name. Just please. All we need is the name so we can get him ID'd.
Mhm.
Now,
Now,
what do you think the main reason is that people aren't talking about it? Because you said a lot of people know about this, a lot of people know the name. What in your mind you think is the main reason people are keeping quiet about it?
The main reason why people are not talking is because they belong to a gang, a very well-known gang. And I think they're scared that they'll come after them. But a person known that they can call in anonymously, not say who they are, and just drop a name, they should at least, have the decency to please do that, because no one would ever know who it is, so they can never come after them.
now I read an
The
article
reason
that
Timothy can't tell us is, my understanding, his family was even threatened if he was to give up the name.
Mhm. And I was just going to bring that up. I read an article that ran in the New York Times of a meeting you had with Timothy. Can you tell us about that?
I'm sorry, what?
I read that New York Times article that came out about your meeting with Timothy. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, I was in the middle of doing the offender dialogue. Timothy agreed to meet with me. I wanted him to know who my son was. I felt like if he knew who my son was, he would have never done it that evening.
Right.
I wanted him to know who my son was. I wanted him to see what his behavior did, not only to my family, but to his own family, because it's like a cancer, it spreads. Uh, it hurts a lot of people. Yes, he killed my son that night, but he didn't hurt my son. My son's in heaven.
Right.
He hurt everybody here on earth.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted him to see, I had him watch the funeral. I wanted him to see what I had to sit and plan, and what he had done to our lives. And I had total memory blockage from what I experienced and what I went through, that I still live with. Um, and most of all, I wanted him to know that I forgive him for it. I feel like kids are not bad kids. They make bad choices and make
Mm-hmm.
horrible choices, but kids aren't bad.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that he needed to understand what he's done and that I forgive him. But I need him to change that behavior that he has been doing in his life to become a better person so he doesn't do it again.
Right. I found
And
it. I
that's
found
why I
it.
speak in the prisons to offenders, is because I will do anything to help those so they don't do this again.
Right. I found it. You had him watch the funeral, and then you brought Joshua's shirt that he was wearing the night he was shot, and I believe it was like the bells off his baby shoes and other things from his life and things like that, and laid it out for him to see all that. And I thought that was pretty incredible.
What was his reaction to you showing him all these things?
Well, I had started out from when he was born, and with the bells and pictures throughout his whole life, to see my son was raised in a good home in an awesome neighborhood, upper, middle class neighborhood, nice clothes, good schools, all of that. I wanted him to see
Mm-hmm.
how my son was raised, and he was a good kid. I wanted him to see how my son had a big heart and things that he did for people. I wanted him. And so I laid it out. I took his diploma from when he graduated. I took the cap that he had from graduation. I went through all of that. I took a picture of his headstone. And on the bottom of my son's headstone, I had found in a notebook in Josh's room at my house, a notebook, and he had wrote in there this little quote, and it says, "No matter what a man's past, his future is always spotless." And I had that put on his headstone.
Wow.
And I put that picture in front of Timothy, and I pointed out that quote. And I asked him to read it. And I said, "Do you understand it?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "I want you to remember this."
Mm-hmm.
And after we went over everything, and I had him watch the funeral, and during the funeral, he started crying.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time I've ever seen him cry or show any remorse. In the courtroom, he would just look at me and laugh.
Wow.
And he was crying, and I reached over and got him some tissue and handed it to him. At that point, he started talking to me and couldn't apologize enough, and was reading scriptures and stuff from the Bible to me.
Mm-hmm.
And he watched the photo clip from my son's funeral of pictures of him growing up, riding his little four-wheeler with his snowsuit on, and when he was small and everything. And then at the end, like I said, I had the shirt my son had on that night,
Mm-hmm.
cut up the middle, saturated in blood, and full of bullet holes. The shirt has never ever smelled, and it's the whole time I've had it.
Right.
I planned on taking that shirt and laying it over everything I had laid in front of him of my son's life. I wanted him to feel the impact of his behavior and how it took that life away.
Yeah.
As soon as I pulled it out of the bag, the whole room smelled of my son's cologne. It was extremely strong. And I looked up at Timothy and I said, "Do you smell that?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Do you recognize that smell?" And he says, "Yes." I said, "What is it?" He goes, "That's the cologne Josh had on that night." Because my son was always well groomed and smelled nice.
That's amazing. That is incredible. I've heard other people, say things like that, to where all of a sudden a deceased loved one, a familiar smell from them will just all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, come up. But I think you're right. I read in that article, when the cologne filled the room, you made the comment that Josh is here.
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm. And I believe that. I
Josh
believe he was there.
Made appearances several times and stuff with his smell and doing different things with lights.
Oh, wow.
Like, probably, I think it might have been 2 months after he was murdered. I had one of those dimmer lights in my living room, and I always left it on. So when he came in at night, then he could shut it off, but he could see to come in. And then I knew if I looked out, if the light was off, then he was home. And even after he was killed, I always left. I couldn't stop doing it.
Right.
I was in shock. I just was in disbelief. I kept thinking he will come home. And about 2 months later, I woke up one morning and the light was off. I went over to the switch. The switch was still on, but the light was off.
Oh, wow.
And for me, that was a sign from Josh letting me know that he was okay. He was home.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, hopefully, talking to you tonight and sharing his story will get people to loosen up and start talking. start tell them what they know, and at least give a name. If nothing else, give a name.
That's all we need is a name, and it's totally anonymous. All we need is a name. There's so many people that can ID him if we just have a name. There's nobody's lives going to be in jeopardy over it.
Mm-hmm.
All we need is a name.
Right. Yeah, and on the bottom of his flyer, I even added the Crime Stoppers Anonymous tip line to where they can even call that anonymously and, give his name that way too.
And if
and
everybody
I'll
could
even
please
share that
share the
that number.
flyer.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
One of the things that was also brought up is at one time that somebody that the police department was trying to track down that they thought could be, and kept going to this one person's house. They'd heard that the person had left and ran to Colorado. So even if people can share it in Colorado, maybe that person talked, Josh needs justice, and our family needs peace.
I agree.
It's been 14 long years.
Yes, it has. And we've got a comment from a lady named Roxanne Fisher Jackson. It says she's so sorry for your loss. What a great thing you did with that visit to Timothy. You're an awesome mom in person. Hugs to you and your family.
Thank you.
Yeah, you are an amazing woman. I mean, that took a lot to go visit him, and I'm glad that he sees the depth of what he's done and how it's affected, you and your family and everything. Not too many people get the chance to do that.
No, and I've even told Timothy, if there's anything that I can do that will help him and to be a better person, I'm here for him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've done presentations together inside Lansing. I mean, I have spoke at the youth prison. I've spoke at the women's prison here. The Courage Walk, the Governor's Conference. I filmed that 2000 and it actually aired in 2015. I actually talked to Timothy for 4.5 hours, but they only captured about 20 minutes of me talking to Timothy. And it's on the Oprah Winfrey 2015 Epic Belief series, Acts of Faith, that aired across the world.
That article said you also visited him a second time. And at that meeting, the second meeting, you referred to him as your friend. And at the end of that, I can't remember what the event was that you were there for at that particular time. But it said at the end of the event, you actually gave up and gave him a hug.
Yes. We were doing a presentation. I did 2 presentations that day. I did up at Lansing at different levels. Mm-hmm. And the level that he was in, he did the presentation with me up on stage. And he wasn't going to talk or sing anything. And I informed him. I said, "Oh, yes, you are." But yeah, we're in this together. And yeah. And then there was another show that the guys had put on up there at the prison, and they invited me to.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's amazing. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, it does say in the Bible to forgive, and it doesn't say forgive this or forgive that, but to forgive all. And people
how can you not?
I mean, you're not necessarily doing it for that person's benefit, but you're doing it, for your benefit. So you're not hanging on to that bitterness and that anger, and you're getting that release out of it. I mean, but you're also, to befriend him like that and everything. I mean, it sounds like you guys have a pretty good friendship. And that's amazing considering.
Yeah, I've never had hate. I'm not that kind of person. I'm a Christian.
Me too.
And it's like, how can I ask God for forgiveness for things that I might do if
Mhm.
I can't forgive others?
Right.
I was more hurt, angry at the whole situation.
Mhm.
In court, when he laughed at me, all I could think about is he's some type of monster. I mean,
Right.
you know, how can you kill somebody and sit there and laugh about it? That means you have no feelings, no nothing,
Right.
you know. And then I felt kind of like pity for him. It was sad.
Yeah.
And then that's when I figured out that, I worked in mental health for 17 years. And I had to work through some of my own feelings and my own fear. And I had to figure out how to overcome that fear of the second shooter being out on the streets.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you overcome that kind of fear? And I figured out I had to get the courage.
Yeah, and you were saying earlier you were constantly feeling like you had to look over your shoulder all the time, and I can understand that.
Yeah, I couldn't go anywhere or do anything. I would just have attacks and start crying. I other than work, I couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, that would be my reaction too.
out.
I would be constantly looking over my shoulder too. I hear you there. But that's amazing that he understands the depths of what he's done, and he's turned his life around, and he's reading the Bible and hopefully studying it well.
And
it sounds like he's
been.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad he's done that. That's
and he got a lucky
real
break because like I told you, I had the choice of taking it to trial for second-degree murder or agreeing to a plea bargain. And he was a Class A felon, which would have been life in prison.
Right.
So he's actually getting a second chance at life.
Oh, that's
because
good.
As a mother, all of those people that were there that evening, which is someone's children, were already devastated in what they had to witness.
Yeah.
Josh's friend stutters from it. Everybody was, devastated. And as a mother, I could never put someone else's child, let alone my own or anything else, through a trial and having to relive anything like that and talk about it.
Yeah.
It's not healthy.
No. When's he projected to be released?
I think it's like right before my birth. I think it's like January 28th, the day before my birthday, maybe in 2026.
Oh, okay. So not too long, about 5 more years.
No, he doesn't have. He got 22 years.
Okay. That's not bad.
Bargain.
Yeah.
I agreed to a plea bargain after many hours of sitting with the DA and stuff because like I said, as a mother, I'm not going to do that to someone else's child, let alone my own.
Right. Hopefully when the day comes that he is released and he's back home and everything, that he doesn't fall back into what he was doing that led up to this, and he continues to stay on the path that he is on.
He better, because I told him I'll hunt him down.
And I bet you will too.
I will.
Well, Judy, we want to thank you for sharing your story, and we're going to cover the flyer one more time. And again, thank you for stopping by tonight and sharing your story. Ricky, while she's here with us, go ahead and read the flyer one more time just to give everybody a little refresher on what exactly we're talking about and what's going on here.
Okay. This was in Topeka, Kansas, April 24th, 2007. Joshua Lee Kalina was shot multiple times about 1:10 in the morning on April 24th of 2007. He was shot outside Terry's Billiards Club, 3919 Southwest 21st Street in Topeka by Timothy Abdul Karim Shahid. Josh had 4 gunshot wounds on the chest, 3 in the left hand, 2 in the buttocks, and 1 in the left hip, according to testimony during the trial. Witnesses say there was a second shooter, described only as a large black man, that fired at Joshua with Timothy Shaheed just over 14 years later. As we were talking about, the second shooter still, sorry about my phone, still unidentified. And Judy says she's not going to rest or give up until she sees the second shooter's identified and behind bars for his involvement in Joshua's death. Since Timothy's conviction, Josh's mom, Judy, she's visited Timothy in prison twice and has forgiven and befriended him. Her purpose in going there was to share Josh with him because she felt if he had known Joshua, he never would have shot him that night. And she had him watch Joshua's funeral, as she alluded to. She brought pictures, caps, and diploma from high school, the bells off his baby shoes, some pictures of his tattoos. One of his tattoos was praying hands on his left forearm with his grandpa's rosary beads and handcuffs around the wrists and sun rays. She also brought a shirt, which she was talking about was cut down the middle, still had blood stains on it. And they did talk for 4.5 hours. And then April 2016, she met him a second time at a victims awareness event at the prison in front of inmates. And that day she had referred to Timothy as her friend, and she gave him a hug at the end of that event. And if anybody has any information regarding the identity of the second shooter, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9125 or 785-368-9551. Or you can call the Shawnee County Crime Stoppers at 785-234-0007. Or you can go to the Shawnee County CrimeStoppers.com website and submit a tip there anonymously. And they have a free mobile app at p3tips.com as well, where you can submit a tip anonymously there as well. So if anybody, it's time to, anybody knows who he is, please turn that name in.
For sure. Judy, thank you so much for stopping by tonight. We do have a tremendous amount of cases to get to, but you're welcome anytime to come back and tell us more. And everybody out there, if you're watching, please, 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 if you know anything, anonymously report this.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And thank you, Ricky, and thank you, Derek.
You're welcome. Thank you for being with us.
And believe me, I'm going to continue to pray on it, and he needs to be found.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, and hopefully this will get us one step closer.
And I want to thank everybody for sharing, and blessings to everyone out there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. No
Thank you.
Ricky, let's go ahead and you need to do a catch up on Ryan Larson. Have we found anything out on this? And this one's got me really troubled.
Let's see. 3 days ago, 1 month missing. Police continue searching for Ryan Larson. Let's see. Well, here's one here. Ryan Larson search. La Vista police locate possible witness, and that was 6 hours ago.
Ooh.
Let's see here. La Vista police on Thursday tweeted a photo of a person they're looking for who they say may be a potential witness. La Vista police emphasized the person is not a suspect in the case and has asked that person, anyone with information about the person, to contact them at 402-593-6407. 45 minutes later, they said that person had made contact with them. So hopefully maybe they can get some information from that person as to what they may have seen. But a month later, they still have not found Ryan yet.
Wow.
Yes, hopefully they do, though. I'm going to go ahead and go over his flyer again here real quick, just so we remind everybody.
Right.
And he's missing from La Vista, Nebraska since May 17th, so exactly 1 month today. He was 11 when he went missing. He had a 12th birthday since then. He's 5'8", weighs 125, has brown hair and hazel eyes. He left La Vista Elementary School at 78th and Terry Drive in La Vista Monday that day, about noon. They've since had a business surveillance system pick up Ryan walking in the area near his home after he left the school that day. He is autistic and considered high functioning. And prior to his disappearance, Ryan had done searches regarding hiding from the police, hiding underground, and how to avoid being spotted. He was last known to be wearing a black jacket, pictured there on the far right-hand side, a couple of pictures there. And he's also wearing blue jeans, an Old Navy shirt, and he had a polka-dotted umbrella. He possibly had a backpack, but it's unknown if he had any kind of survival supplies in it or just normal school supplies. If you see Ryan, police are asking not to approach him, but instead follow him at a safe distance and call 911 immediately, or call the La Vista, Nebraska Police Department at 402-331-1582. I do know they had searched a lot of waterways, as autistic individuals are naturally attracted to water. So they have been checking creeks and lakes and that kind of thing. And
Wow.
so far have not found anything. I mean, now it looks like they've got a potential witness at least. Hopefully. We'll see what happens. And hey, here's Irene. It's been a while. Yeah, we haven't seen you in a while, Irene. But we've been covering Alex. We haven't let him be forgotten. And we will go ahead and cover him again tonight. Missing from Ulysses, Kansas since December 1st of 2020. He's 35 years old. He's 5'11", weighs 235. He has black hair that he shaves nearly bald and brown eyes. He contacted a family member via phone on December 1st and advised he was coming to their house to do some laundry. He never arrived at that family member's home in Ulysses. He's not been heard from or seen by family or friends since then. He had been staying with family and friends prior to his disappearance, and at the time it was believed that he may still be in Ulysses or he may be in the Garden City, Kansas, or surrounding areas. Again, he's 35. He's 5'11", weighs 235, has black hair that he shaves off, and brown eyes. He has a tattoo of a bumblebee on his face underneath his left eye. Also has Perez tattooed on one of his arms. And he also has a tattoo along his collarbone there. If you have any information regarding Alexander's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Grant County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-356-3500 or Ulysses, Kansas Police Department at 620-356-4600 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And keep him out there and circulating so we can hopefully help bring him home here really soon.
Ricky, go ahead and read this comment for our podcast listeners, which there's a crap load of. We get so many downloads on our podcast and we never talk about it. We're on every podcast platform, same name, Kansas Missing and Unsolved Podcast. Go ahead and read this comment for our podcast listeners.
Oh, this one right here?
Yeah, I mean, just the part about just, you know, well, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's from Irene Perez, Alex Perez's mom, and she said, from what the KBI says, we should get some closure soon and for us to expect no good news. And that's not good, because we were hoping for the best outcome possible.
Right. But I mean, you know, considering the things that we've seen sent to the family on social media, it's at least for me, I got really worried when I saw like some of that Snapchat stuff, like that he probably might not be coming home.
Yeah.
But if they're going to give some closure, I mean, that's a very broad statement. The KBI is like, oh, we're going to give you some closure. Does that mean you're going to, you know, enclose somebody behind bars? Or does that just mean like, well, we think we know what happened, but we're not going to do, you know, it's like,
right.
what it's a broad statement, you know.
It is, but
I mean, at least they're being honest with it. They're saying, you know, don't expect good news. I don't know though, but it's been since December, you know. I mean, Irene wants to hear something. She needs to hear, you know, right now we don't know anything. It's just he was here and then he was gone.
Right. Yeah. Well, hopefully I'll be interested to see what they say. You know, you're saying it is a broad statement, so we'll have to see how they narrow it down when the time comes, I guess.
Right. Well, thanks for stopping by, Irene.
Yeah, and like you were talking about them Snapchat messages, those were pretty bad.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
No.
Okay, we got some cases to cover. Let's talk about Alyssa.
This is a new one that I just did today. Alyssa Vasquez is missing from Wichita, Kansas since June 13 of this year. She's 17. She is 5'6". She weighs 150 pounds. She has brown hair and brown eyes. She has a tattoo of Black Lives Matter on her left wrist. And if you have any information regarding Alyssa's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9452 or 316-660-9478 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get some information generated as to where Alyssa may be and get her back to where she needs to be.
I agree with you, Irene. She says, to us, closure isn't good enough. We want to find out who did it.
Right.
Me too. I would tell the KBI, they'd be like, oh yeah, we're gonna have some closure for you soon. It's like you bringing me like a picture of somebody in a jail cell, or like that would be closure in my definition. And I'm not crapping on the KBI. They have a hard job to do, but it's like you missing a family member since December and it's June.
Yeah.
You'd like to hear something, especially when that Snapchat. I know we keep talking about it, but when there's like stuff like that, just blatantly out there, because that's never happened before, dude. Like in the 70s and 80s, you might have somebody say some outlandish stuff to somebody, but how are you gonna prove it?
Right.
How are you gonna prove it? Somebody could just walk up, 30 years ago, you could just walk up to somebody and be like, I did this crime, and they'll be like, I'm gonna tell them, be like, well, I'll call you a liar and nobody will believe you. It's like now with that Snapchat thing, it's like that's pretty hard to dispute if you're the person who sent that. It's like you got a lot of explaining to do, in my opinion. I'm not a cop, but I don't know. I just feel like hopefully they have some answers, and hopefully it does involve an incarceration.
Yeah.
Because that's enough.
Yeah.
What about Cecilia?
All right, that's another one that I did today. She's also missing from Wichita, Kansas since May 25th of 2021. She was 16 when she went missing. She's now 17. She's 5'4" tall, weighs 125 pounds. She has blonde or strawberry hair, and hazel eyes. She has braces on both top and bottom of her teeth, and she also has a heart tattoo on her left ankle. If you have any information regarding Cecilia's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9452 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And again, hopefully we can generate some information as to where she may be so she can be found and back to where she needs to be. Let's hope.
We got a YouTube viewer. Shady, is it you?
I don't know. I haven't seen Shady Booty in a while.
Shady Booty has been out of the building. So this one you have posted 3, because I go to the page to pull our flyers. By the way, folks, if you're watching and you're like, where can I see these full flyers? The Facebook page. That's where I pull all the flyers for the show. But you have 3 separate flyers for Darren Walker. What's going on, man?
Well, this one, I've been communicating with his sister, and she actually sent me the photo on the left, the photo on the right. The one on the center is the one I've been using, but I added those 2 there. That was the last.
He looks very angry in the middle, and the other 2, he looks like just a regular. I'm glad you got those, man, because the one in the middle, it just looks like somebody who's like really upset. The other ones just look like a guy just taking a picture.
Yeah. Actually, the one on the right, before I cropped it down, that looks like it may have came from like an ATM camera or something. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, but really?
It's kind of what it looks like to me, but I don't know.
Is that like recent?
I'm not sure.
You didn't get like a time frame on what was
I don't know.
He looks oldest, in my opinion, on the far left.
Right. Yeah, he's been missing from Wichita since May 20th of this year. He's 53. He's 5'11", weighs 175. He has blonde gray hair and blue eyes. And I do have some more information that I recently added to here, as well as also he was last seen in the area of Central and Waco and Wichita In the area, in the past, he frequented the area of Pawnee and Meridian, also in Wichita, and this is the new information here. He was recently released from the hospital for cancer treatment, which has led to the use of a colostomy bag. He needs continual assistance and medical supplies to treat his recent surgery and is missing under circumstances not conforming to his normal routine or habits, and his family is very worried about him. So if anybody has the information regarding Darren's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-263-6011 or call Detective Donnie Moore at 316-268-4114. The family is also offering a $1,000 reward for information leading to Darren's safe return as well. So hopefully he can be found. I've seen some comments under his flyer talking about possible sightings at a location called Lord's Diner down in Wichita, which I believe is a location where homeless people frequent. So hopefully maybe what that'll pan out, I don't know. But look at Irene's comment here. Supposedly they have 3 people in custody and hoping to get answers. What hurts us and makes us upset is the one guy whose daughter did the Snapchat is out like nothing. Wow. Interesting.
That is interesting, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad they got some people in custody, man. That, good for is it GCPD that has them, you think?
I don't know.
Irene, where they in custody at? That is good news. I mean, it's not good news that they're telling her it's bad news, but it's good news that they have people.
Yeah.
It's not just like, well, we think they're not going to tell her, well, we think this. They're going to be like, well, we've kind of got this information. I don't know, man. I honestly, like, Ricky, why does anybody kill anybody?
That I don't understand. That I don't understand. I've been wondering about why and when did it become normal to settle disputes with guns? I don't get that. I just don't get it. Whatever happened to the days of just sitting down and discussing your issues out?
Yeah.
But
I mean, like, honestly, though, like,
I just don't get it.
People are like, I don't want to get, like, I don't want, like, to get, like, a microchip put in me. Excuse me, I just had some soda. People are like, I don't want to get a microchip put in me, but it's like, you carry one around all day. Like, seriously, I don't see why anybody that has a smart watch, a smartphone, a smart car, I just think, like, if you do a crime like that and you talk about it on your device, like, I just feel like you're going to, and at first, you asked me a week ago what I think about this case. I'd have been like, well, I guess it's just, typical. Something really bad happens to somebody and nothing ever happens. But now it's like more like, oh no, it sounds like the police pretty much know what happened. They're just trying to prove it. So, like, again, like, that brings up my next train of thought is, like, I just don't see why people think they're going to get away with something like that and then talk about it on, like, a smartphone. I don't know. It's like, I don't get it, Ricky. It's like we are being watched. Everybody's being watched. It's like, and I it's like, but honestly, the difference between they can know who did it, but without, like, crucial, gun in hand evidence, it's really hard to prosecute. It's really hard to make sure that I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just I'm excited that they have 3 people in custody. That's really a good thing. And now I'm bummed out that they're saying that he's probably no longer with us. But yeah, the 3 people in custody, that's a good thing.
Yeah. And to bring to your point about the smartphone, the smartwatch, the smart car, all are equipped with GPS. I mean,
dude, I carry a smartphone everywhere I go. My car doesn't even let me. If I start swerving, my car takes over for me and corrects itself.
My car's too old for that.
Oh, we're gonna get you a new car. I'm paying a ton of money. It's a headache having a car. But my car broke down. I had to get a car. But anyway, like I'm pretty sure if I was gonna go commit a crime, it would take them maybe 5 seconds to find me. They would be like, "Well, he stopped at a Wendy's on his way to the crime, and then he stopped at an ice cream shop on his way home from the crime." They would just follow my phone, my car. I don't know. I just don't see how people do, break the law on those kinds of levels. And but again, I don't know, man. I just hope that I hope that the people they have in custody pans out, dude. I hope it ends up being like something where they can really put somebody away, like she's saying. That's gonna be the that's what the family wants. They want somebody to be somebody to pay the price for what they did. So but the fact that there's 3 people in custody leads you to believe that this could be a really big setup. Like he could have just been set up, man. There's no telling, man. But anyway, Irene, I'm glad that there's some people being asked some serious questions right now, and I'm glad they know which people to ask those questions to. So, again, we're just barely on the cusp of the journey of justice, but at least having those 3 suspects is pretty good start. Tell us about Davion.
Yeah, right. Davion Gray. He's another Wichita one that I did today. Missing from Wichita since May 25th of 2021. He's 17 years old, 5'5", weighs 130 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. If you have any, he was last seen, of course, May 25th, about 9 o'clock that night. If you have any information regarding Davion's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9452 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't generate some information and get Davion back to where he needs to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mondi says everything you do or say on a smart device goes into the cloud. You can't hide.
Yep, you can't hide.
That's right. I mean, maybe I'm just a wuss, but I don't see how anybody breaks the law now that our appliances are keeping tabs on us.
Yeah.
I mean,
definitely.
I mean, I'm sure I can download an app that would tell me how many times I open Facebook a day, but I don't want to know that number, Ricky. I don't want to know that number.
Me either. I'd be scared.
No, I don't need to know that number, man. I'm trying to have a good day.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's a ton. I mean, but I don't know, man. Like Facebook's one of those things, man. I think it's great, man. I meet a lot of people and I can stay in contact with people. But so let's talk about David Zachary King.
Koenig. Yeah, we've covered him before. I was asked to reshare his flyer. He's missing from Branson, Missouri since February 8th of 2020. He was 25 when he went missing. He's now 26. He's 6'6", weighs 240 to 245, brown hair and brown eyes. He stayed 2 days at the Peachtree Inn on February 8th. He texted some friends to ask for help, saying he may be in danger and was wanting a ride. He is a well-known mixed martial arts or MMA fighter in his hometown. He has numerous tattoos, including a skull with wings and the word Omerta on his chest, a scorpion on his upper right arm at the shoulder, and the words "The Bullpen Mafia" on his abdomen. Part of David's left middle finger is missing, and he may have facial hair or a beard. If you have any information regarding David's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Branson, Missouri Police Department at 417-334-3300. There is currently a $5,000 reward for information leading directly to David. So you can see that he's got quite a few tattoos there.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can help get him found safe and back home where he needs to be.
It just sounds really sketchy. He's calling people like, I think I'm in danger.
Yeah. He's a big guy, though. 6'6", 240 to 245. Oof.
Yeah.
I sure wouldn't want to be on his bad side.
Right.
But hopefully wherever he's at, he's all right, and we can help get him found.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it just doesn't make sense, man. I mean, obviously, there's a ton of red flags. He's like, I think I'm in trouble. But I mean, like, and I'm sure that there's way so much to this story that the police cannot release.
Oh, probably.
I'm sure they know a ton,
Yeah.
but like on base value, it's just like, I don't know, man. It's just like, well, he messaged some people and said he was scared, he was worried, and now he's missing. It's like, okay, well, where's his phone? Oh, was his phone with him? I guess.
Yeah. I'm not. It sounds like it if he messaged somebody. Yeah.
I mean, go to Verizon. Give us all of his text messages. But I think that's illegal. I don't think Verizon will even do that. I don't know, man. Like, it's just, I just don't see how, like, we have, like, people say everything on their, their smart devices and stuff. I just feel like.
I think usually in a situation like that, police usually have to issue subpoena the records. Usually.
Right. I'm sure it's a big, messy procedure, but it's just like, I just don't believe that this guy was just like had a hunch one day, like, hey, I might be in danger. Like, I'm sure there's somebody texted him, he got a phone call, something happened that was just like, oh, I think I might be in trouble, like somebody might be after me.
Yeah.
I don't know, but hearts go, our hearts and prayers go out to David Zachary King and his family. Hopefully we find, some resolution that's not grim on that case.
Yeah.
It's been about a year though, a little bit close to a year. So
yeah.
We'll keep you posted. Let's talk about Diana Kenner.
That was one that I happened to run into by chance accidentally when I was researching another case. And she is missing from Shawnee County, Kansas since July 16th of 1979. She was 32 when she went missing. She would now be 73. She's 5'6" tall, weighs 130 pounds. She has black hair and brown eyes. She has not been seen or heard from since she went missing. If anybody has any information regarding Diana's disappearance or her whereabouts, please call the KBI at 785-296-4017 and let them know what you might know regarding Diana's disappearance. See if we can't generate some information.
Right.
Hopefully. I mean, it's a long time to be missing since 1979.
Right.
Robin Hyman Rios says, hey, from Lubbock, Texas. So happy to see the kids that have been located. Appreciate all your updates and posts. Well, you're very welcome. I try to do my best. So it's
we do have a located safe reel coming up.
Yeah.
We have very low attendance tonight. And I think what's happening.
I see that because we're late.
We're late. And plus, dude, it's softball season.
Yeah, that's true.
Every adult that likes sunflower seeds and baseball is out, like either watching softball, watching their kids play softball or t-ball, or baseball's happening.
Right.
A lot of folks at the ball fields right now. So
yeah,
but yeah, we do appreciate the people that are here.
Definitely.
But we will do the located safe reel here in just a few moments.
Be sure you share the show so everybody can catch it on replay as well. So
yeah, for sure. Tell us about Dion Amar.
It was the last of the ones that I did today. Let's see. She's another Wichita kid. She has been missing since June 10th of this year. She's 13 years old. She's 5'6", weighs 130 pounds. She has black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Dion's disappearance or her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9452 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't help get this young lady found back to where she needs to be. I mean, she's 13. That's a little bit young to be missing that long. I mean, it's been a week, but still.
Yeah.
So hopefully, Dion, if you see this, let somebody know where you are so they can come and get you.
Little
get
young.
You back to where you need to be.
Little young to be out there by yourself.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
What about Candy Green Gonzalez?
This one is one that I did several days ago. I guess it's been now. She's missing from Prestonburg, Kentucky since June 1st of 2021. She's 36 years old. She's 5'8", weighs 110 pounds, has blonde hair and blue eyes. She was last seen in the backyard of a home on Abbott Creek Road after the people on the site recorded an interaction where she wandered around the property before asking them to call her mother. They called, getting her voicemail and leaving a message that her mom will never forget. The message said, "Your daughter's here," and she says you're her mother, and she wants me to tell you that her boyfriend threw her out. And her mom recalled, "I could hear Candy saying 'Mom, Mom, Mom' in the background." Footage her mom acquired showed Candy visibly distressed before running through the yard and into the creek. Candy's shoes were found 2 days later in the creek. That is the last anyone has seen of her. Again, she's 36 years old. She's 5'8", weighs 110 pounds. She has blonde hair and blue eyes. She was last seen wearing a pink one-piece romper outfit. If you have any information regarding Candy's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Kentucky State Police Pikeville Post at 606-433-7711. The investigation is ongoing by Post 9 Trooper John Dixon. And the family of Candy Green Gonzalez is now offering a $10,000 reward for information that leads directly to Candy. So hopefully we can help, get some information out there, generate some information that they can hopefully help find Candy.
I mean, if she's yelling "Mom, Mom, Mom," why didn't they hand her the phone so she could talk? Oh, maybe they didn't want to hand a stranger their phone.
That could be.
Did you say that she seemed distressed? When did they describe her as like somebody that was like showed up at their house and kind of freaked them out, or they were like, "Oh, we got to help her"?
That I'm not too clear on. It just, she was
kind of sounds like they freaked her out. She freaked them out, and they were like,
yeah. Because one article,
I mean, if somebody comes in my yard and says, "Hey, I need to call my mom," if I'm not leery of them, I'm just gonna hand them my phone. Be like, "Here, call your mom."
Yeah.
If I'm somewhat leery of them and been like, "No," because you've heard of it, man. Somebody comes to your door and they're hysterical, and you're like, "Oh, come in," and the next thing you know, somebody else comes in with them and they rob you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you have that natural like, should I trust this stranger coming to my door? But I don't know the fact that they didn't give her the phone leads me to believe that she might have been like.
Yeah.
Is she like firing on all cylinders? Are we thinking that maybe she was like manic or anything like that? Or
that I don't know. The only thing that I really saw was that the footage that her mom obtained, apparently it was hard to distinguish in this footage whether they were trying to help her or whether they were taunting her. So
see, I mean, the fact that you even have to like have a jury on that leads me to believe that more than likely, probably, if not taunting, they were very leery of her. They thought Candy was a threat.
Might have. I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah, but I mean, the whole thing, like she ran into the creek. I mean, I just don't see why anybody runs into the creek at night. I don't know. It's just.
And there's no indication of how big of a creek it is, how deep it might be,
right,
or anything like that either. So, I do hope she's okay and safe wherever she's at, and I do hope we'll find her.
How did you come across this one?
Somebody actually messaged me about it and asked me if I did just strictly Kansas cases, and I said no, and they sent me information on Candy, so I went ahead and researched it and made the flyer.
Okay.
Just like one of our located safes on the reel. What was her name? Stephanie Renee Wallace. She was missing from Wisconsin. That was another one that I was asked to do. Last they knew, she was in Enid, Oklahoma, and I got word today that she was actually found in Kansas, out with a farmer doing. She was riding with a farmer doing his harvest. But she was okay, and she said she was apparently aware of the whole missing persons thing, but she felt like it was no big deal.
Okay, she was like, they'll figure it out.
But at least she's found safe and she's okay, and hopefully she'll be, be reunited with her family soon.
Right. Let's talk about Kayla Titus, another youngster.
All right, She's missing from which?
Real quick, we had a comment on from earlier when we had the 13-year-old. It was Belinda Stone over on YouTube watching. So hey, Belinda.
Okay.
Thanks for stopping by, Belinda. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, Kayla is missing from Wichita since June 5th of 2021. She's 15. She is 5'5", weighs 140 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. She was last seen in Hutchinson on June 5th. If you have any information regarding Kayla's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9456 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get her found and back to where she needs to be as well. And Kayla, if you're watching this, give somebody a call, let them know where you are. Sorry about my phone again.
Probably just the case.
My goodness. It's a very nosy phone.
How do you say this name, Levy?
Well, that one there, I'm not going to cover
Or
that
Levi?
one tonight. Yeah,
Oh, not that one?
Yeah, I'm not going to cover her tonight because I got word that she was supposedly found and back home, and I'm waiting for to try to confirm that with Wichita Police because she's still showing up on KBI. So
Okay, all right.
still
We'll leave
trying
that
to,
one alone.
trying to get clarification on her.
Let's do Matthew Hulse.
Okay. He is missing from Columbia, Missouri since September 18th of 2014. He was 44 when he went missing. He is now 51. He's 6 foot tall, 160 pounds. He's brown hair and hazel eyes. He was last seen in Columbia, Missouri on September 18th of 2014. He was supposed to take a bus to Middleton, Wisconsin, but it's unclear whether he ever arrived there. He has never been heard from again. He has a tattoo of a fire dancer on his right shoulder and a tattoo of a girl with a mohawk on the back of his left shoulder and a tattoo of a horned skull on the side of his left shoulder. And if you have any information regarding Matthew's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Columbia, Missouri Police Department at 573-874-7652 or 573-874-7617 and see if we can't get some information generated on where he might be. Hopefully wherever he's at, he's safe and okay. It's been 7 years, just about, or almost 7 years in September. So it's time to bring him home. And I'm sure he's got family that's worried and concerned about his well-being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rachel, we're still covering Rachel, correct?
Yeah.
Got me nervous now, like we found all these people.
Sorry about that. Yeah, Rachel Peterson is missing from Hillsboro, Kansas since March 15th of 2021. She's 37. She's 5'2" to 5'3", weighs between 110 and 115 pounds. She has brown hair and brown eyes. It's believed she may be in the Wichita, Kansas area. She was last seen leaving with an unknown male in an unknown description vehicle. She may go by the following aliases: Rachel Estes, Megan Estes, Reagan Estes, or Rose Estes. She is considered missing and endangered. So if you have information regarding her disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call Private Investigator Melinda Holloway at 316-570-6032 or the Hillsboro, Kansas Police Department at 620-947-3440 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And let's see if we can help get her found and back to where she's safe. All right. I think we have one more, don't we?
One more. Skylar T. Manny.
Yeah. And I recently updated that with a new photo in the middle there. She is missing from Park City, Kansas since May 26th of 2021. She's 15 years old. She's 5'6" to 5'7". She weighs between 120 and 155 pounds. She has black hair and brown eyes. She usually wears her hair in a bun on the top of her head. She has scars on both arms and her chin from dog bites. If you have any information regarding Skylar's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Park City, Kansas Police Department at 316-744-2011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 to see if we can't get her found and back to where she needs to be. And she is a repeat runner. I will give you that. I do know that because I had a flyer made for her previously and it was anywhere she'd been located and ran again until I saw another missing alert for her with that center picture there on it. So let's get her found and back to where she needs to be.
All right. Well, folks, you know what time it is. It's
Yep.
time to see our located safe reel. We want to thank everybody for watching tonight. We'll be right back after this
Mhm.
message. You're watching Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast.
Yeah, and then Leah what is her name? Leah Hardbridge. She was a last minute add to the reel. Just found out just before showtime they had found her. So
I don't know why
I had planned on covering her case, and
I don't know why I even try, Ricky. Every week I make the located safe reel and I load it up, and as soon as you're like, oh, we found one more, I'm like, oh, of course you did. I would say probably 3 out of 5 shows I make 2 located safe reels because we find somebody like right before the show starts.
Yeah,
we don't find them, but the authorities do.
Yeah, Diana, I love the located safe reel too. I saw your comment there about love the located safe reel. I always love doing those. And eventually, we will probably down the road, and hopefully a long ways down the road, have to do another located deceased reel because we've had a few of those come up recently. So, unfortunately.
Yeah, we don't like doing those. We will, we'll probably do. I think it's kind of been like where we do one every like 4 or 5 months, because we don't get a ton of located deceased, but
thankfully
enough to make a reel every couple of months,
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Great show tonight. Low attendance. Usually we have a lot of people hanging out, but the important people were here. The ones we've been seeing every week. Everybody's important. But I'm talking about like the ones that have been showing up every week and hanging out with us. We love that you do that and come here and hang out with us.
Yeah, but I miss Shady Booty.
Shady Booty. Now we got Belinda Stone. Maybe she's friends with Shady.
Maybe
her and Shady are friends. And maybe she's Shady's proxy. Who knows?
Yeah. Lori Hayes says, thanks for all you do. You're welcome, Lori. I've been doing this over 9 years. With the podcast, we've only been doing a little over a year, but the page I've been doing just a little over 9 years now. So, been keeping me very, very busy. Yeah, even the located deceased does give closure, and that I agree. That's important too. I do agree with that.
Belinda Vance on Facebook.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd like to see the YouTube numbers go up. So, share the YouTube channel and let people know it's there so they can go back and watch past episodes that they might have missed. That way they're all in one place and they can just like veg out on them if they want to.
We have 2 people watching on YouTube right now. You never know. Shady could be here.
Yeah, this could be being like ninja or something.
I think Shady's here.
Yeah.
I don't know. We got 2 YouTubers though. That's awesome, man. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching the show tonight. Thank you to our guest earlier, Diane Hill, right?
Yeah, Judy Dunn.
Judy Dunn. I'm not even anywhere close. Diane Hill.
Judy
Dunn. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for being with us, Judy. Greatly appreciated.
And a crazy story, story with, she's friends with her child's killer. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. It reminds me of, I was watching a documentary on the Green River serial killer, Gary Ridgway, up in Washington State back in the early 80s. And after they finally figured out who he was and arrested him, and he was on trial and everything, and some of the families of some of his victims were doing victim impact statements, and this older gentleman that his daughter, the Green River Killer, had killed. He looked like a Santa Claus type guy. He had long white hair, long white beard, and mustache, kind of heavy.
Really?
But he gets up and he says, "You make it hard to do what God says to do, and that's forgive." And he doesn't say just for some. He says to forgive all. And he said, "You, sir," he said, "you, sir, are forgiven, and I'm sorry for you." And that was the only person that got up and spoke that caused Gary Ridgway to break down.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, that takes a lot of strength to do that.
Thanks for hanging out with us every week, Mondi. We
Yeah.
we would feel silly if we just did this show and nobody watched it.
Yeah. We'd just be talking to ourselves.
Yeah. Really, me and Ricky's portion of this show is, and on the scale of importance, you all are way more. The more of you, the better. The more we can get done.
Right.
You know, we can have more people being like, I know that person. I like that one show like 3 weeks ago. Like a girl's like, I know that guy. He's not missing. She called him. He called the police. They came and picked him up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the show works, you know, and the show, even if it doesn't work, you know, we're raising awareness with, you know, the fact that people often do go, you know, missing, and we have to find them. What up, Joe
Hey,
K?
Joe. From Wichita. We've been talking about Wichita a lot tonight, as far as where a lot of these people we covered tonight are missing from. A lot of them. So yeah, Joe, you might hang around for the replay at the conclusion of the show. And Melanie says, "Thank you for all you do. You're very welcome, Melanie." Yep, if you bring one person home, you're making a difference. Definitely. And I'm still trying to line up. I cannot remember his name to save my neck, but I'm trying to. He does a search and rescue here in Kansas, and I do want to get him on and visit with him. He's been out doing some searches. He was doing some searches in regards to the Randy Leach case and stuff like that. So I do want to get him on here. I'm going to talk to him and see about getting him lined up for Tuesday's show, maybe. Our next show is this Tuesday, the 22nd of June, 9 o'clock. So mark that on your calendar, and I will be sure to get a post up before Tuesday. I was supposed to do that for the show, and I completely forgot. I was so busy. Y'all are amazing. Everything y'all do is so appropriated. Thank you, Belinda. Appreciate that.
And if you see Shady over there in YouTubeville, you tell him because there's 2 people watching from YouTube. I'm freaking out. Who's this other person on YouTube?
Yeah, share the YouTube, people. I want to see the YouTube numbers pick up too.
All
Share,
the old
subscribe.
episodes are on YouTube as well.
Thumbs up the videos. From what I've been learning from other YouTube creators by watching their shows, they say that, you know, by liking and subscribing and thumbs up the videos, and they said that it helps the algorithms on YouTube and that kind of thing. So, hey, Shady. Yeah, Adventures with Purpose. That's a different one. This is another guy that's just recently started his search and rescue. His last name's Rubble, and I want to get him on here. Put it on the Salina scammer page, huh?
Scammer page is probably.
It's supposed to be scanners and police scanner, I hope.
I joined that the Salina scanner police page or whatever.
Salina police scanner, yeah.
And it's a lot going on in that little town, man.
Yeah, my brother actually runs that page.
That's why I followed it.
Yeah, my brother actually runs that, and he's in the process of actually getting a new police scanner because the police department, sheriff's department here in town, they went to a different trunking system, so the traditional scanners don't pick them up anymore. So they've got scanner. Okay. I just want to make sure. I didn't know there was a Salina scammer page. That's oh man. But yeah, my brother does a good job with that, and he's in the process of getting a new scanner so he can keep up with things better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an old lost art, man, of just sitting there listening to the scanner all night.
Oh, I know.
I knew people that's what they did, man. They would have a scanner.
Yeah.
And they would keep it on that police station, and they would just sit there and they'd tell you everything that happened in my little hometown of Elkhart. Like, did you hear what happened the other night out there at such and such? All digital.
I mean, like today, I mean, we had a sad situation up here at my apartment complex today in the back half of my building. There was a gentleman that had been living there since before the owners that own it now owned it, and they've owned it for a number of years. He had passed away, and the last time anybody had seen him was a week ago Sunday. And like I said, he passed away, and the air conditioning wasn't running in his apartment. So because of the heat and the length of time it took to finally discover that he had deceased, and the only way they realized it was the smell, which was sad. So, that was a bad deal. In my understanding, I've never met the gentleman except in passing a couple times, but he seemed like a really nice guy. My prayers and thoughts and prayers go out to his family. It's a pretty bad deal. Yeah, he was an older gentleman, so I don't know if he had a medical episode. That's what I'm assuming was a medical episode, but I don't know. Of course, the police were here for quite a while because it was an unattended death, and so they had to be here for a while. And it's a bad deal.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, just want to thank everybody for being here with us tonight and sticking around with us for an hour and 16 minutes. And again, the next show will be Tuesday, the 22nd. So be here for that. It'll be 9 o'clock that night. And until then, stay safe. God bless. Take care. And we will see you on the 22nd. Have a good night.
Well, I don't think it, I thought it, that's different. I said what I said and I meant it, or lamented. Words given weight without thought, and I'm cursing the way that I talk and the way that I ought to be able to pause and to say that the fault can be placed on my arm, to this playful assault, to this race in this arm. Pray for the day they could wait for the calm. You can't control the storm, only weather it, whether it's 5 weeks and 5 days of rain sideways, or scorched earth, search for death or water left with all the thorns.